We, the Indian Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, ISHRE, stand tall in the Indian industry with over 10,000 professionals as members and almost an equal number of student members. Founded in 1981 and headquartered in Delhi, we operate from chapters and sub-chapters spread all over India, bringing our entire industry together. Individuals become members of our society according to their professional and academic standings. Our roadmap of the future looks very bright, with thousands of new members joining this technical society every year and bringing in a fresh outlook to our industry intelligence. ISHRE disseminates knowledge through its technical committees, which consists of some of the best minds of our industry. It publishes technical books, newsletters, and a prestigious journal, distributing the wealth of knowledge to all its members. Working with government departments, ISHRE helps formalize industry codes and standards. ISHRE promotes research by offering financial support to student members to carry out groundbreaking work in technology, systems and processes. Our educational wing, ISHRE Institute of Excellence, organizes training programs and workshops to help members enhance their skill sets. Our specially designed certification programs under ICP, that is, ISHRE Certified Professional, empower professionals to always be in step with the prevailing technology. Specially designed courses for technicians are offered to meet the ever-increasing demand for a skilled workforce. ISHRE organizes exhibitions, conferences, panel discussions, and product presentations throughout the country. We organize the industry's largest international exposition in South Asia, Acrex India, to showcase the cutting-edge technology, innovation, and provide a platform for closer interactions amongst the decision makers in the industry. The Acrex exhibition is now growing from HVAC&R show into BFA, Build Fair Alliance. This brings together several allied shows connected with the building services industry all at one location. Our chapters organize several other popular events like AgriConf in Delhi, Raycon in Kolkata, Symposia in Mumbai, TechFest in Goa, and many more. We are committed to provide training and career guidance to our student members through seminars, lectures, quiz contests and site visits. A-Quest, a prestigious quiz competition organized by ISHRE to catalyze the transformation of the budding engineering professionals. ISHRE provides a platform to potential employers to select student members for careers in HVAC&R industry at the ISHRE Job Junction. Young minds are made aware of the need for saving power, clean air and sustainability. The K-12 initiative of ISHRE focuses attention on school students' development to inculcate a scientific fervor and help develop them into responsible citizens. Speedy information is imperative to keep moving forward in this hyper-connected digital age. Searcher, a specifically designed search engine, is now available, which allows access to a well-catalogued database on HVAC&R and building services industry with just a few clicks. ISHRE cooperates with various national and international bodies, industry, governments, academia, think tanks to promote the concept of sustainability, environmental protection, and energy efficiency and conservation, to enter and explore the universe of the Indian HVAC&R industry. Log on to ishre.in that unfolds a panorama of information, Let us engineer a sustainable future together through ISHRE.
In this post-COVID new normal, India now has to deal not just with pollution, but pathogen-riddled air as well.
But there's confusion and concern over whether that can spread the coronavirus.
No end to COVID woes in the national capital. Delhi reported 19,000.
When the coronavirus attaches to a cell, it begins to replicate medical conditions.
How safe is the air we are breathing?
Antimicrobial air purifier helps in protection against both air pollution as well as airborne disease transmission. We are using DCD mechanism, that is called deactivate, capture, deactivate mechanism.
We have Ravi Kaushik. He works with antimicrobial air purification technology.
We're now joined by Ravi Kaushik, an alumni of IIT Bombay.
And got amazing results. In 5 minutes, we were able to achieve minimum of 99.87% when we tested on 4 different microbial species. How we can deactivate the pathogens which are being only trapped by HEPA filters. That's what we've been working on at Department of Chemical Engineering at IIT Bombay and supported by IIT Kanpur SIIC. As an Indian, I believe we all deserve much better and cleaner air.
The positive results of air purifiers in public places offer a ray of hope for the coming times.
So, thank you everybody and good afternoon all of you. Thanks for joining all the panelists and all the attendees. So, without wasting time, as you know that this program is organized by Delhi chapter of ISRE and is sponsored by Earth, and founder and CEO of Earth is already here with us as a speaker. Program chair Mr. Waliullah Sidki is there with us, and of course President of Delhi chapter of ISRE with us also, Mr. Ashish Gupta. So we welcome everyone. Further, I request our program chair Waliullah Sidki sir to introduce Mr. Ravi Kaushik in front of us. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Tapas. I'm sorry I got disconnected for a few seconds here. So today's, I welcome all the participants here. Today's environmental scientist, Mr. Ravi Kaushik is here with us. And I welcome our DCI President, Mr. Ashish Gupta here. He is also here. So today's presentation is going to be a great presentation on basically how we can achieve air in building and make it germ free. So today's session is going to be addressed and presented by Mr. Ravi Kaushik, and he is an environmental scientist. He is also CEO and founder of Earth. So Mr. Ravi Kaushik is a graduate from IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai, with many years of research. He has 3 patents and a motivation to bring the change. Mr. Kaushik has executed R&D with IIT and Indian Institute of Science, CSIR labs to develop germ-free destroying filters using the immune power of plants to replace germ-growing filters being used today. So his innovation, he has 3 patents to his name, and his innovation has been deployed at esteemed organizations like RBI, DST, Stock Holding Corporation of India, ONGC, different corporates and hospitals. His research promotes Think in India and Make in India. So he founded his company, and this is mostly, this company is very active in making antimicrobial air filters to make the environment inside indoor environment of different buildings in our houses germ free. And Mr. Ravi Kaushik is an environmental scientist, and he's founded his company Earth. So we can call him a air doctor also in that way, for because he's been very active with antimicrobial air filters and how we can reduce the growth of germs and other bacteria and viruses inside our indoor environment, especially after the outbreak of epidemic and the coronavirus. These things have been very sought after. And other very important thing is that these filters which has been patented and which they use, there's been made by plants. So they're using thousands of plants to make those filters, and uh, those filters they destroy germs. So basically, we can also say that this is a green type of destroying the germs in our environment. And today's session is going to be very informative, and I hope everybody will be here to listen to our environmental scientist, Mr. Ravi Kaushik. So over to you, Mr. Kaushik.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siddiqui. And I really appreciate the opportunity given by Ishre. I'm quite hopeful that today's session will be helpful for every attendee here. So I will start with my presentation. I will share my screen. Can you please confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, sir, fine it is. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So this is a disclaimer, first of all. So today's discussion will be mostly about how we can make our buildings germ-free and pollution-free using a technology that has been developed at IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, and IIC Bangalore. So giving an introduction about myself, so I am an environmental scientist and an engineer. Have been working particularly in the field of aerosol science and air purification for last 6 years now, and with 3 patents, all in air purification technology, being guided by the professors at IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, and IIT Delhi, who are like leading aerosol scientists in India particularly. So having more than 3 years of experience of lab work and using all sophisticated instruments out there for air purification, particle concentration, and others, we have developed this technology. And today I will be mostly focusing on what has been the deployment strategy and the kind of energy savings that we can do using such a technology. So this entire technology mostly is being supported by Department of Science and Technology, where we have developed germ destroying filters at IIC Bangalore and Kanpur. So first of all, before getting into depths of our technology, I have this question for everybody. Computer life versus human life. Which one do you think is more precious? Which do you think should be breathing cleaner air? If I do a poll, I'm sure 100% of us would say it's human life, right? That is more precious. But then why data centers have the best air quality? Why MRI machines in hospitals are given special attention? And why semiconductor industry uses lots of money, particularly for air purification? And I'm sure you won't get that in other buildings where we work, right? Or in even in hospitals. We need to understand that clean air has to somehow relate to better business. Otherwise, if we just talk about how it impacts us, nobody is going to implement it in actual. Yes, definitely it is going to help us, but somehow it has to root through better business. And there are plenty of narratives that can be given that how clean air means better business. And that's why just focusing on the narrative, the importance of narrative, this is a problem statement that we have, and everybody knows that air pollution, pre-COVID air pollution has been a problem, will remain a problem, because we are a developing country, a lot of industrialization is happening, will happen, right? So air pollution is a constant problem, and now we, after COVID, people are aware about disease transmission, which happens before as well, but now everybody is aware about them. So the problem is combination of air pollution and disease transmission. Now I'm sure all of us here would have known about these pollutions, that is criteria pollutants, primary pollutants, secondary pollutants, particulate matter, allergens, then VOC, TVOCs, etc. And the harmful effects from throat irritation to lung cancer, heart disease, etc. Uh, but again, this is something that everybody knows, and everyone, for example, people in my domain also used to speak this language only. But let me ask you this question now. What if I tell you there is a way that you can increase your life by 9 years, up to 9 years, and you just need to do one thing, and that is breathe clean air? There are a lot of scientific evidence now suggesting that people in urban areas of India are losing approximately 5 to 10 years of their lives because of the polluted air that we are breathing. And you just breathe clean air and you can save your life. Isn't that something that everybody dreams of? We do exercise, we do take different type of medicines, do surgery just to have elongated our life, and we can do that quite easily if we just breathe clean air. Apart from that, there are long-term health benefits. You will have better productivity, not only you but everybody in your organization, the buildings where such kind of air purification technologies have been adopted. Health benefits to everybody from CEO to junior employee, better productivity of the CEO as well as the junior employee, as well as energy savings that you get, because dirty air means it has a lot of cost associated with it. So that's the importance of narrative, saying the effects, harmful effects on an individual versus harmful effects on individual plus business. And that's how I think moving forward we have to narrate such that businesses are more open to adopt such technologies, and they acknowledge that it is a necessity, not a CSR activity, and it clean air can actually save them money and health of them themselves and their fellow employees. Now, coming back again to the problem, problem remains the same: air pollution and disease transmission. However, now the narrative is everybody in your organization or your building is kind of losing 9 years backed by study of their lives. And it affects individual productivity. Your business might not be running at an optimal level, and people might not be performing at an optimal level. Bad air quality definitely is expensive because of higher cooling requirements that we have. Now we have set the problem statement right, particularly in terms of businesses, in terms of hospital segment, in terms of restaurants, in terms of pharma industry, hospitals, etc., how it is impacting their business. Now coming to current methods that are being used, air filters. Now the problem with air filter remains that they work on a capture mechanisms using different principles like interception, impaction, and diffusion. However, they just capture these germs and air pollutants, or the different type of air pollutants. These germs grow there, and again, it's a well-established fact. You can go on Google Scholar and search it. These germs grow there. They can again get resuspended because of high pressure drop that we have. These filters are being used in HVAC systems, right? There is huge flow rate that is passing across these filters, because of which germ growing on the filters resuspend back into the air. And that's particularly why the government also advised to shut down the central HVAC system. However, that was quite unfortunate, but that what was happened. Now, second is ionizers or ESP filtration technology that we use. Again, this is something dependent on electromigration, which is a quite scientific technique altogether. However, in this, even small rate of ventilation completely deteriorates the air purification efficiency. And in HVAC particularly, we do have ventilation. Even if it is small amount, we do have ventilation that is quite detrimental to any kind of ionizer or ESP filtration. So it is quite not effective when we are talking about such huge flow rates in HVAC systems. Then fumigation is being used particularly to deactivate germs in the air around us. However, everybody now is aware the kind of harmful effects these fumigative substances have on us. They form very fine droplets. They even form nano aerosols, which again get into our bloodstream. So these disinfectants, which you are using to deactivate germs, are because of they are in aerosolized form, are getting into your bloodstream and then getting into your system and affecting you, right? So it's a well established fact, and that's particularly why fumigation is done mostly when nobody is around. UV lights, again, they are really harmful for us, cannot be used when we are there, right? And this is the contradiction. Both fumigation and UV lights have been used quite extensively after the breakout of COVID pandemic. However, the just imagine that you want to decrease the load of microbes or germs in the air. These disease transmission happens when we are in the building. So let's say this entire session was happening in some place in an auditorium. What will happen with time? The microbial load in the air is going to increase if somebody is infected, right? Currently, there is no way that can decrease the microbial load. Fumigation and UV lights will be used after we have left or before we have entered, right? Because both of them are really harmful for us. However, disease will transmission will happen when we are there. So it's not happening in real time and ultimately loses the kind of why it is being used for. So ultimately not serving the purpose, both fumigation and UV lights. And then, yes, we have plants. However, they have no effect on particulate matter. There are some studies suggesting they can reduce TVOCs or VOCs. However, they very simply, plants cannot have any effect on particulate matter, and mostly those are the breeding ground or even carrier for germs. So this is the same thing which I have said earlier has been written in a more tabular format and more scientific format. Just I have missed one point, that is photocatalysis. Again, it's a very slow process. It's a surface phenomenon, and that's why we only used for removal of VOCs for a larger amount of time being used. So this is where we come in, and talking about the future, that is going to be germ destroying filters, filters with media that has been coated over it that can destroy germs using immune power of plants to destroy germs and purify air at the same time. The comparison is this: normal filter allow growth of germs inside them, and then again a resuspension happens in the vicinity, infecting people. Air filters, what they are doing, because of the coating and changing the inherent property of the media, of the fiber itself, what we are doing is we are deactivating the germs in real time with minimum change in the pressure drop. So this is going to be the future. And how we are doing it is using polycationic polymers and plant-based bioenzymes that has been coated over filters using different processes, different stages of processes. Ultimately, these cations and enzymes use ROS, that is reactive oxygen species, and free radicals to rupture the germs and destroy the germs. Now, when we see these filters are coated filters at a microscopic level, this is what we see. These are the fibers of a media called HEPA filter, and as you can see, these media fibers are now coated with our coating. On further magnification, you can actually see how these fibers have been impregnated with those polymers and enzymes. So this is a exhaustive study that we have done, figuring out the kind of impregnation that enzymes require to deactivate the germs. Now, this is a demonstration and visual representation of what happens with uncoated filter or normal filters that we use currently being used in the industry versus what happens with the antimicrobial filter prepared by us. So as you can see, with time, so what's happening is we have sprayed some germs over it. With time, the microbial growth exponentially increases over a normal or uncoated filter. What we have done with the same timeline, you can see there is no microbial growth on our filter. However, there is growth on the sides because of agar that we are using. So that's what our system was able to do. Our media was able to deactivate the germs and inhibit the growth. The applications line particularly in HVAC industry, car filters, air purifier filters, and air conditioners. We particularly for now are focusing on HVAC filters. And these are the validations that we have done at CSIR NPL. They have tested, are we able to reduce particles which are as small as the reported size range of SARS-CoV-2, that is 100 nanometers. So we were able to do that. Then WHO has said that it is being transmitted via droplets, right? Disease are being transmitted via droplets. So that kind of testing we have done. In a chamber, we aerosolized droplets which had microbial contaminants in them, virus, RNA, bacteria, and fungus, and we were able to achieve more than 99.99% efficiency in 10 minutes in the testing environment that the enabled this accredited lab was able to do. Recently, what we did, the above presentation, visual representation, what we have shown, other filters allow growth, we destroy them. The same has been validated at TUV Rhineland, that we are able to deactivate the captured pathogens. And then at CSIR IMTech, Institute of Microbial Technology, we were able to deactivate the aerosolized black fungus. I'm sure everybody here knows the kind of havoc black fungus has created, because people were going blind and even they were committing suicides if they got to know that they have a black fungus. And that we were able to deactivate, particularly in aerosolized form. We have not usually how every testing is done is mostly on surface. They put microorganisms on surface and then have some technology which is being deactivated. However, representing such esteemed organizations like IITs and IISc, we have actually done what happens in real life, that is aerosolized form, right? Particularly at the same droplet size, what you see, and then we have seen the deactivation of a black fungus. Recently, again at CDRI Lucknow, CSIR CDRI Lucknow, we were able to perform and validate that we are able to deactivate drug-resistant microbes. Again, this is really, really difficult. Drug-resistant microbes, the name itself says that they are resistant to drugs and also to other technologies which can deactivate them. The same has been validated that our technology was able to do that. Our filters have the following validations: that the pressure drop change is lesser than 5%. The filtration efficiency is at par to what other air filters show. The microbial deactivation, as I have shown the above validations, we have tested at TUV, CSIR labs, NABL labs. We are able to deactivate germs, however, other filters allow growth. Our filters and the coating that we are doing, which is completely biodegradable, is safe, and there is no leaching of the coated enzymes that we do over the filters. We have more than 200 deployments so far now in various banks, hospital, offices, restaurants, homes, etc. And we have been constantly working with frontline workers to protect them, protect the patients. And some of our customers are Reserve Bank of India, the organization on which the economy of entire India depends. We are helping them, and they are dependent on us there for their air safety. Stockholding Corporation of India, it manages stamp paper. So whenever you get stamp paper, it is being managed by Stockholding Corporation of India, and we are helping 3 of their branches to protect them from any kind of disease transmission as well as air pollution. ONGC, SIDBI, Balco, a cancer hospital, Schindler Elevators are other esteemed customers that we have. Apart from lab validations, which we have shown above, we do have real life validations as well. For example, this is a pharma company, Rusan Pharma, where we were able to ensure their business continuity using our technology, and they were able to maintain the quality of the products as well. Stockholding Corporation of India, a government PSU, we were able to get letter of recommendation from them basis on that we helped them during the second wave of COVID as well, and still they are using and are really satisfied with the air quality that they get every day. This is very interesting. In a cancer hospital, what we were able to do, we were able to protect most immunocompromised patients which have literally zero immunity, who undergo bone marrow transplant. So what happens with these patients is they remain in a room for approximately 1 to 2 months, and they stay there, and the surgery happens in that particular room, and now even common cold is fatal for them. Now what we have done, and this cancer hospital did for us, was they validated our technology with others. Definitely there are others which kind of claim the same, that they are able to deactivate germs. They validated using their own facility, at their own facility, using their instruments, and after validation of approximately 1 to 2 months, they then deployed it on actual patients, and after 4 to 5 successful discharge, we were able to get letter of recommendation from this cancer hospital. If we are able to protect cancer hospital, I am sure we can protect people with immunity, right? Then this is again a unique case study, that we got a food exporter who was facing a lot of problem because of fungal growth. He was shipping his fruit to Switzerland and other countries where there were a lot of fungal growth. Now he has used all kind of different alternatives, fumigation, UV light, etc. However, the problem remained in air, right? The fungal growth remained there. Then what we were able to do was, using our technology, we were able to maintain food quality by eliminating the microbial growth in the air. So we were able to deactivate the germs from the air. Now he doesn't has to use preservatives, and he is able to maintain the quality, which is now at par with international standards. This again, at one of the hospitals in Ghaziabad, we got this query from the doctor herself, saying that they were getting a lot of cases of false positive and false negative, because where they tested, right, they have a lot of microbial growth and microbial contamination in the air. So black room is where everybody's RT-PCR sample goes, and there in those black room, our samples are being tested. Because of microbial contaminants in the air, we often get false positive and false negative. Now what we were able to do in this real life validation was, we were able to create near sterile condition in this black room, because of which ultimately the false positive and false negative were diminished. And not only this, we were able to have a long-term validation as well. Even after 5 months in the same black room, we were able to maintain near sterile conditions. Now this is something which is going to be relevant for everybody, where we mostly talk about washable filters versus non-washable filters. So if I were to ask which one of them would be more suitable for any industry, I'm sure mostly everybody would be following washable filters and not non-washable filters. Reason being, washable filters can be washed every week. They have low pressure drop, and that's why they will ultimately lead to lower cost and easy maintenance. This is the most of times the reason being given by approximately every organization that we were able to talk with. However, with non-washable filters, the difficulty or the challenges remain, that they require replacement. They have extra pressure drop, which ultimately leads to high cost of cooling and high maintenance cost. So this is, I'm sure everybody here would agree with me on this. However, there are few aspects that we forget when we are talking about washable filters versus non-washable filters. That washable filters usually have very low efficiency towards removing the particulate matter from the air. However, non-washable filters are really efficient in terms of removing the particulate matter, be it viable or non-viable, from the air. Which means that washable filters ultimately lead to dirty air, which means higher cooling requirement. And also at the same time, non-washable filters reduces, definitely there is airflow reduction because of usage of non-washable filters. Now the reduction of airflow has both positives as well as negatives, which has been described in various research papers. But one I would really like to mention here is this, that theoretically, yes, it is being said that air conditioners, because of negative low pressure drop, low airflow rate, they have reduced cooling capacity and system efficiency. However, there are positive consequences as well. One, that is, by reducing the airflow, we have lesser power drawn by air handler fans. Now, what this leads to ultimately is that there is increase in sensible capacity, because now these fans are adding lesser and lesser air, which needs to be removed by the cooling coil, right? And apart from this, the reduction in the airflow rate also means that refrigerant does not absorb as much heat from the air, now diminishing the sensible capacity and decreasing the power drawn by outdoor compressor. This ultimately leads to increase in sensible heat ratio, and there has been a couple of field studies done, and particularly talking about this paper, that is Stevens et al. 2009. Here they have done 17 residential and light commercial establishment field study. They were able to figure out that changing the low efficiency or washable filters, which is MERV 4 and below, to high efficiency filters MERV 11 and 12, caused an daily system energy consumption to decrease by 0.8 kilowatt per ton of installed cooling capacity. So this has been by, and this is this is a paper by one of the ASHRAE members. This ultimately says, or when we do all the calculation for Indian ecosystem, we were able to get to these numbers, that if we change our washable filters, that is MERV 4 and below, to non-washable filters, that is MERV 8 and above, can save approximately INR, Indian rupees, 20,000 to 28,000 per month per 100 ton of cooling capacity, which definitely is much higher than the cost of any type of filter that you take, even HEPA filter for that matter. Not only this study, but there are a couple of other studies as well. However, there is this assumption that there is no duct leakage, refrigerant charge, and everything should be at the optimal capacity. Here, while calculating this 20,000 to 28,000 per month, right, we were able, the assumption taken was this, that per unit of electricity costs approximately 12 rupees, right? If you do the calculations from 0.8 kilowatt per day of cooling capacity, and this 18 kilowatts, what you can see at the lower side, 18 kilowatt per ton of nominal capacity per month, you will get to this number, 20 to 28,000. There are organizations which are already doing it. They are already using non-washable filters, over-washable filters, and taking advantage of both, having much better air quality in their premises, ultimately leading to better productivity, better health of their residents. At the same time, they are using that as a marketing tool. They can actually say that outdoor air quality is much worse, but what we have here is much better. For example, I know a couple of organizations, our Terminal 3, which is International Airport, actually uses non-washable filters only. Now, WHO has already said that it is estimated that 50% of indoor biological contaminants on bioaerosols are coming from the ducts. Even more than that would be after COVID times, I'm sure. And that's why it is really important that our ducts should be protected, so that ultimately it leads to protection of ourselves and our business. So what we are doing as an organization is, we are replacing your normal filters, which resuspend the captured germs growing on those filters, with our germ destroying filters, that is using immune power of plants to destroy germs and purify air. So this is what we envision. Just imagine you getting into a restaurant or getting into a building that says, welcome, you are getting into a clean air zone. We are sure that clean air is going to be used as a marketing tool for businesses and as a remembrance point for the customers where they can actually relax, right? And you just imagine you seeing a screen where it says relax, you are breathing cleanest air. AQI outside is 500, 700, 600, which usually happens in northern India particularly, and as well as in western parts, and the AQI inside is 50 and or below or even 100, which is in satisfactory limit. So we need to understand the kind of impact that we will be able to create apart from saving a lot of money for our business. So these are mentors. IIT Bombay is helping us in aerosol science part. IIT Kanpur is helping us in microbiology part, and IIC Bangalore is helping us in material science part. So definitely air purification and disease transmission is a very complicated subject where aerosol science, how aerodynamic parameters and diameters are interacting with each other needs to be understood. So that's why it's an intercollaborative association that we have with different IITs and IIScs, and they are helping us with that. We have been so kind of a dream for every startup that is into R&D domain that they should be endorsed by somebody from the scientific domain. We were able to get endorsement from the director of IIT Kanpur himself, kind of a dream for everybody in our team. And we have been on national news channel because again of the impact that we were able to create. Apart from this, we recently were one of the 75 products during the 75th year of independence, the event of biotechnology that was inaugurated recently last week by Honorable Prime Minister. And a book has been released where we are one of the 75 products throughout India, which was released and inaugurated by the DST Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh himself. So thank you very much for your time. We want to join hands with people like yourself who are into this domain and working towards protecting people and business from unseen germs in the air and as well as air pollutants. So it has my contact details, and if anybody has any question, I would be happy to answer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kaushik sir. We will wait a couple of minutes to come. Regarding any question, if anybody have, every attendees are requested. If you have any question, you can put your question in chat box or Q&A section. We will take it one by one. We will wait for 2-3 minutes for this question.
Okay.
Yeah, the first question received from Mr. Gandhi. What is the exact material you are using for coating?
Right. So we are using the base material remains the material that is being used for any normal type of filter. The base material remains the same. Any kind of filter media, right, that we use made of glass fiber or PPE, etc. We are using the same material. Now what we are doing is we are coating the filter. Now the coating is the process that we have control over, and that's the most innovative process that we ultimately are doing. We get the roll or the filter, we do the coating. There are various steps what we do. For example, for a coating we may do spray coating, then there are other processes, dipping with some enzymes, then spray coating with other enzymes, then drying, and then again drying, wetting, etc. So those are the steps that we multiple stages of coating that we do, after which now those impregnated enzymes are there as I have shown in the figure before. Maybe I can show that again. So as you can see here, these are the enzymes that have been impregnated. The base material remains same. These enzymes that we were able to collect using our domain knowledge and then deposit is something that we are working on. So hope that this helps. So what happens, the chemical properties have now changed, however the physical properties remain the same. So the filtration efficiency is approximately the same what you get for a non-washable, non-coated filter versus a coated or earth filter. Filtration efficiency remains the same. The pressure drop, there is a slight increment, approximately 1 to 2 to 3%, but always remains lesser than 5%. But now your germ growing filter has now transformed into a germ destroying filter, and it has been validated various different labs.
Should we move to the next question, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about cost comparison? So cost, whatever you get, right? For example, 610 by 610 by 150 material, we have approximately the same price range. Maybe maximum 10% excess. So we want to be competitive, right? And that's why we remain in that range. There is nothing like we have 1.5x what is you are getting of the material of normal or uncoated filter. So we have a maximum 10 to 15% increment, but depending on the numbers, we are quite competitive what you get from normal filter what you get versus our coated and germ destroying filter what you get. So maximum 10% increment, but we can work out on the cost, but quite competitive. Then what is the life of the filter? So any HEPA filter currently being used is used for 2 to 5 years, particularly in HVAC system. If it is in air purifiers, it is mostly being used for 6 months. So we were able to establish that our filter, the coating that we do, the filter life remains the same because base media is same. The coating life is 2 years, and we are now doing the expedited study to figure out if it is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But 2 years is something that we have validated in-house. Are your filters are washable or non-washable? Sir, our filters are non-washable particularly. We do have washable, but ultimately coating won't help there because the kind of pressure that we are going to use, right, while washing them is something that is going to ultimately any type of coating will be released, right? So that's a fact, and that's why we don't say that 30 times coating can 30 time washes can be done. Also, apart from this, we should not be using washable filters. As I've said, you can actually save a lot of energy if you're using non-washable filters. And apart from that, energy as well as human safety as well as the long-term benefit that you will get using non-washable filters. And that's why we mostly are going towards non-washable filters only. Then next, as you mentioned, it used transmission, how plants are used, are the harmful effect, that is deforestation. Okay, no, we are not doing that. So for example, people, so we are not actually cutting plants and then using those enzymes. It's, for example, how do I say this? But these enzymes, what we get are in mostly in the form of powder, which is available. Apart from that, we are also using biopolymers, which are, these polymers are available in abundance. It's just that how we are able to mix and make that concoction such that not only biopolymers from enzymes are being used, but also polycationic polymers are used to enhance the capacity, and now it is being coated over the filter. So deforestation, no, definitely no. How safe are the coating you have used? So it is completely biodegradable. We are all the elements, all the polymers that we are using are certified that they are biodegradable. And that's why we are saying that it is completely biodegradable, because all the elements are biodegradable. Now, we have done toxicity test as well on mammalian cells, and we have established that it is non-toxic to humans as well. So this is something that we have done, non-toxic and no leaching found. So these are very two basic fundamental that we understood after talking to people like yourself in the industry, that it should be completely, there should be no harmful thing coming out, or nothing should be coming out from the filters, right? So that we have done leaching test, right, which suggests that nothing is coming out. And then second, point was it should be completely safe, and biodegradability is one aspect, but as well as the testing certificate that we have that it is non-toxic is something that we have done on top from a third party lab. Which places can we use these filters? So next question. So we are using currently the filters in our HVAC systems, right? Again, as I have said, WHO has said that more than 50% of bioaerosols are coming from ducts. It can be much, much higher than that, right? And that's why we need to understand the importance of germ destroying filters in the HVAC. And you can easily replace, and there is no other installation that is required. It's quite easy to replace. You can just replace your germ growing filter with germ destroying filter at par the cost with same kind of filtration efficiency and same pressure drop. So this is what we are doing. And one segment where we are heavily focusing is HVAC in ducts of large spaces in buildings. Second, we are in touch with couple of car companies where they want to market that when passengers are, your car is safe. Currently, one another thing that people were able to figure out was car and breathing in car with people around you. Even during when we were having family members, right, they were getting COVID because they were in that very small space. Now they want to have that, and it's a unique value proposition that those car companies want to have, and we are able to deliver to that, and we are working with them in cars. We do have our own air filters, air purifiers, right? So any kind of air purifier, just imagine you have any kind of air purifier running besides you. How would you feel knowing the fact that it has all the germs inside it? These germs are growing and they can again resuspend back. That's where we are different. Now imagine the same air purifier running besides you, but this air purifier, the filter that it has is completely eliminating and destroying the germs so that it doesn't resuspend and affect you again. So HVAC system, car HVACs, and then air filters. We are now trying to work on AC air filters as well. So that's something that is in process, but we definitely will have something soon, out soon. Then great presentation. Thank you very much. I am new. I have not heard of. How can we meet? Okay. Oh my. Okay, so we are based out of Delhi, and I have given my information. So you can easily connect with me. Just give me a minute. Just a minute. So Aditya Singh, you are raising your hand. If you have any question, if you can put that down in the Q&A section, that would be really helpful. Okay, Gandhi ji is asking, is there any impact on filter pack depth as coating is increasing with? No. So yeah, again, no. And that's particularly why I'm sure everybody here would have heard of a lot of antimicrobial coatings, right? But none of those coatings can be applied on the filters. The reason being, most of these coatings are oil based, right, or gel based. So if you coat them, if you coat those filters using other surface coatings, the filters will just clog, right? And that's particularly why our system is such that it is able to work at a nanoscale level, and that's why the entire coating technology that we have is something proprietary and developed at IISc Bangalore, such that it is happening at a nanoscale level. And that's why I have shown you at SEM analysis using those microscopic images, right? You were able to see the fibers remain the same, right? And there is just nano coating over those filters and those enzymes being impregnated, such that you to the naked eye there is no increment in the even a single strand of the fiber that we are using. So no, there is no change in the depth of the filter or number of pleats being used. So that is something that we have established by doing various different tests and already being used in the industry. suffering from asthma, yes, definitely it will be, and we have a lot of case studies, in particularly in homes, where we were able to establish the fact that allergens, any kind of allergens that people were facing with, they were better off using our system. We have a case study where somebody bought it from us because somebody in their family underwent a surgery. Now, to protect them, they have bought one of our system and now using it, and again we have letter of recommendation from them. So yes, apart from asthma, any kind of immunocompromised patients, for example HIV patients or cancer patients, are using our system, and not only at individual scale but at corporate scale as well. For example, we do have one of the clients which is a cancer hospital and using our system for last 6 to 8 months now. Can these filters be used in air washers once and are exposed to external ambient dust and contaminants? Air washers, definitely yes, once through and can be exposed to external ambient dust and contaminants. I don't find any reason why they can't. So, if I may understand more specific in terms of dust load, microbial load, what you are talking about, I definitely can do some calculations and help you understand will this work or not. But I'm sure there is no reason that I can think of that it can't be used in air washers and then exposed to an external ambient contamination. Again, need to understand like air washers, how exactly, because air washers, I'm sure it can work, but if you can give more details, I would be happy to answer. Breathing in sterile is actually make us more sensitive. Okay, so this is very important question, and it has been asked by people multiple times, that breathing in a sterile or low bioburden area will make our immunity lower or reduce the immunity. So the answer is a definite no, and your immunity will remain intact. The reason being, we definitely, everybody says that microorganisms around you are good as well as bad. So bad one cause you diseases and make you feel sick, but good ones help your body and make you more immune. But all these microorganisms are good for your gut. By gut, that is stomach, right? So every microorganism is good for your stomach. The main function of your lung is diffusion of carbon dioxide to the air that you are breathing in. Oxygen should be getting in your blood, carbon dioxide should be getting out. So this is the main only function of lungs. Now microorganisms have no role to play in the diffusion. Your stomach needs all those microorganisms which you usually get from your food and water, not from air, right? So no, microorganisms don't play any kind of role in lowering your immunity if you are breathing in a sterile zone or low bioburden zone. IIT का tempo high, आप भी IIT से हैं, great. Service life, how comparable is it with conventional air filters, even non-replaceable fine filters? So it is comparable actually. So we need to understand what we are doing. Our technology remains that we are just coating the already existent or the already existent media, right? Such that now physical properties remain the same. For example, dust load, so that depends on external contamination, right? So it's a very site specific problem. So whatever the dust load is, your normal filter will have, let's say, suppose 1 year of life. Now, if we have coated the filter, the life will remain the same. So there is no change, and the same can be validated by me saying that we have done the testing that the pressure drop is lesser than 5%, right? Approximately, there is no variation in the pressure. So the airflow will remain the same, and the efficiency of particulate matter removal or filtration efficiency is approximately the same. It's just that now we have changed the chemical properties of these fibers and they're able to deactivate the germs. when we are doing the coating, how would you ensure that this reaches all? Yes, yes. Uh, so spray dip, so both we are doing actually, and there are multiple stages of such filters, drying, and then other processes as well. So yes, we are making that sure, and we have done SEM analysis, TEM analysis, FTIR analysis to validate the same, that it is being the impregnation of these enzymes is happening to all the pleats or all the fibers. Sure, we definitely will connect. Cost difference, it hardly a difference of 10%, not more than that. We are really competitive in that sense. Pressure drop in HV system. So pressure drop in HV system completely depends on the flow rate and the area of filter that you are using. What we are saying is coated and uncoated filter, there is not much pressure drop. So for example, if you are using HEPA filter, the IPD or initial pressure drop is approximately 150 pascals. Ours is also 150 pascals, and FDP final pressure drop is approximately 500 to 600. That depends on that organization particularly. Ours is also the same. So there is no changes in the pressure drop. It's just that now the chemical properties of the media is such they are able to deactivate the germs as well as purify and filter. However, normal filter just filters it and allow growth. Now when growth happens, right, both of the things happen. One, the load which increases, right, the microbial expansion that happens, so that reduces your filtration efficiency. And second, these germs, when again get resuspended back, they ultimately leads to higher air pollution as well as disease transmission. So I hope this was helpful. If there are any other questions, I would be happy to take them offline. I think I've covered all the questions. So over to you, Siddiqui ji.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ravi Kaushik. This has been very informative presentation.
Hello. Sir, sorry to interrupt you. I think a few more questions are in chat box as well. If you can.
All right. Take those questions, please.
Okay. So Upendra ji is asking frequency of replacing normal filter, how much you replace them, right? Again, dependent on the on site, what are the conditions? For example, in Delhi, the replacement might be in 1 year to 2 years, and in, for example, in places like Northeast, it can be 3 to 5 years. So completely dependent on the site conditions, but it is at par to what you get for normal filter. Just want to understand the working of your standalone verifier unit and how you are validating it. So validation, again, we have validations. Let me just, so that's so for example, this is one of the validations how we were able to do of our standalone unit, which was tested at Enable A-grade lab. Or for example, for black fungus as well, the same kind of testing was done, where droplets were aerosolized, and then our unit was turned on for some time, and then the entire air of this chamber was pushed by a vacuum pump, pass through a filter. That filter is then transferred, the microbial contaminant on that filter is then transferred to culture media that was then incubated to find the CFU count. So this is how exactly the entire process was. So it's quite complicated how to get microbes from the air to some media, where agar media, which is a must to have to grow your microorganisms. So this is how we have done our testing validations, mostly in aerosolized form. And these were the results as we've got from E. coli, S. aureus, Candida albicans, MS2 fudge. In 5 minutes, you are able to achieve 99.87% minimum, and in 10 minutes, it was higher than 99.99%. So if there are any other questions on validation, I would be happy to answer them offline. Next question. Any visual indication or filter life is over? Currently, no. What we can do is do a pressure drop test. So IDP, FDP, and that's particularly why we can have online monitoring system that can help you understand if the FDP has reached like final pressure drop of 500 pascals for HEPA filter has reached. It will give you an indication automatically that now you need to change it. So it can be done either using IoT or automatic process or manually. Somebody can go and just do the pressure drop testing. So that's how it is usually being done. Does the impregnation coating affect the filter pleating? No. Again, because the coating is at a nanoscale level, and the impregnation, as I have already, let me just go to that slide again. So see, these are the filters, and you can see the magnification level is at 100 micrometers, right? So at that scale, you can see the coating, how much the thickness of the coating is, right? So it does not change the physical properties of your fiber, be it HEPA, be it MER 13, 14, 16, whatever that is. The depth remains the same and there is no change in the physical properties. So your pleating depth remains the same, or pleating number of pleats, depth of pleating always remains the same. Impressive, thank you very much. Great innovation. Yes. At home, do we need to replace the filter of the split units where patients are staying? Thanks. Um, we again have such similar use cases where, but again, we need to understand some limitations as well. For example, if somebody with COVID comes to me and sneezes on my face, right? So there is no way that I would be protected. And that's particularly why even doctors with PPE kits were getting those transmission, because they were working really close with the patients. So if we are able to maintain our distance, and the main problem remains the growth of microbial load in the air, we will be able to reduce that using our innovation that can in real time deactivate the germs. So apart from, yes, you should replace the filters of your split units, but better would be if the filters of the split unit can actually deactivate the germs. So that's my suggestion is the whole house, no fumigation is not good. So it might be causing a lot of harm for everybody at your home. So don't rely on fuming. And now every industry, being from F&B to pharma, they want to get to eliminate fumigation, because even their product are being affected nowadays. So fumigation is something that is we want to get, which should stay away from, particularly as at household level. Bioaerosols and the exposure to TVOCs, VOCs would be really, really high. What is the test chamber dimension for us? It was, so we have tested in test chamber of approximately 10 meter cube, but we have tested in 50 meter cube chambers as well. So from low end 10 meter cube to 50 meter cube, the black fungus testing that we have done at CSIR IMTech Institute of Microbial Technology, we have tested in a 50 meter cube chamber. So kind of very big room, if you could imagine. So we have done all sorts of tests. So I think those were the questions. Thank you very much. Siddiqui ji, you can take over now, I believe.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ravi Kaushik. It's been excellent presentation with a lot of explanation regarding how we can reduce the antimicrobial load in the environment, in the air that we breathe.
Hello.
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Hello, Siddiqui sir, your voice is coming little low. I mean, hello.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to thank you, Mr. Ravi Kaushik, for such wonderful presentation and giving all the details of how we can contain the microbial growth in the air that we are breathing in closed spaces, and with various various kind of filtrations explained and various kinds of new technology that you've got patented, you have explained. So I think in future we are going to use these kind of products to safeguard from the pandemic and for other airborne diseases. So uh, well, certainly, or any other questions? Anybody has any questions? That questions can be addressed to the Delhi chapter of ISHRE, or it can be addressed to Mr. Ravi Kaushik, and we can come back with the answers. So I think we are through with the presentation today, and thanks everybody for joining in. So, Mr. Tapas, should we close it now? The session?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Or any
So
other
final
questions?
words from Mr. Kaushik only, then we will close.
Yeah. Conclude, Mr. Ravi Kaushik, kindly conclude it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Siddiqui. It was really helpful. And just one question that provide AHU as well. No, we don't provide AHUs. We provide solution for AHUs where the filter can be replaced with ours, replacing your germ growing filters with germ destroying filters. That's what we do. But ISRE has been really supportive. And coming from academia background, right, it's really challenging how to take your R&D from the labs to commercialization stage, and I think that's where ISHRE, particularly Delhi chapter, has been really helpful. And I look forward to long-term engagement with ISHRE and Delhi chapter, and getting guidance from people like yourself, Siddiqui ji and Ashish Gupta sir, to take things forward. So thank you very much, and looking forward to our long-term association. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Ravi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we have to reconnect on this topic again in future.
Yes. We will again reconnect with it
Because many of the questions we have received that shows that how interested this topic was. So I would like to say that this was a great presentation done by Mr. Kaushik as well, and attendees also engaged themselves to getting things from them as well.
Sure.
Right. Thank you very much, Tapasji, for organizing everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So with this note, should I close this session, sir?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye. Good night.